This is a quick video to show you how to add images to blog posts in WordPress. You can either add your images one by one as you're writing a blog post, or you can add images in bulk to your media library. So let's start by just adding a single image as you're writing. So as I'm writing, I'd like to add an image. So I'm going to press enter a return, and instead of just typing here where it says type to choose a block, we are going to press the plus. And usually one of the first things that pops up here is image. If it doesn't show up, you can click browse all and find it, but usually image is close to the top. All right, so we've got some options here. We can upload an image, we can go to the media library and choose one, or we can insert from URL. So I'm just going to go upload straight from here. Upload. Let's find an image. Perfect. Let's say this is the image we'd like to add. Okay. All right, now I've already resized the image. This one was sitting on my computer, and I know it's about maybe 1600 pixels wide, which is not a bad size. I wouldn't make it bigger than 2000 or smaller than 1000. I think anywhere between 1000 to 1000 pixels wide is good these days. So I'll just write that here. I like 1600 pixels wide. And the width is what really matters. You say, okay, well, what if I have a really tall image? Still make it 1600 pixels wide. Things are faster now and they can handle bigger images. We don't have to make them tiny. What we can do here is I'm going to select the image so you can see the little blue squares around it now. One thing I like to do is go up here and press this align button that's got the thick bar within the little bars and just align center. Now, my screen isn't big enough for this to make a difference, but if somebody views it on a big screen, that can be helpful. If you want to change the aspect ratio, we're going to go over here to this right-hand side. If it's selected post, you won't be able to see any of these options, so make sure you're selected block, and then it will be the image options. So we've got block up here. We're fine with the original aspect ratio, but we could make it something else if we wanted to, but let's not. Let's leave it as the original. And I've got it selected to full size resolution because I made it the size that I wanted to on my desktop. You can change things like the width and height if you like, though. But one thing that can be really helpful is to explain what is in the image. And we do that here in the alternative text box. So in this one, I would write something like sleeping newborn baby wrapped in blankets in dough bowl in woodland setting. Just something that explains what the general photo is. So that's good. I'm happy with that. If you want to, you can also add text over the image here, or you can add a caption. So you can say, "Oh," or something here if you'd like to. Okay, so that is how we add a single image. Now, you can do fun things to it too. If you go over here, in the block menu on the right hand side, usually it's selected to this little settings wheel, but you could also go over to styles. You can say, oh, well, I really would like it to have a border, or I'd like it to be rounded. So you can go and do all that stuff. I usually just leave it as default. I don't play around too much with the styles. I trust myself for that. Anyway, at this point, I'm going to click save, and I can go over here and view the post. And there is that image. Now, I'd like to add, let's say, 3 more images to this post, but I kind of like to do them all at once. So in this case, I'm going to go over here, my website dashboard. And then instead of going to posts, I'm going to go to media. And it's going to take me to the media library. So you can see here, the media library contains that photo that I just uploaded. So everything that you upload, even if you upload it to an individual post, it still goes into your media library. So all of your pictures and videos and PDF files are all going to live in here. So now I'm going to add a new media file. I'm going to go select files, and it's taken this back to these nice images here. And I want to show you before I upload them what I've done to them on the desktop. So I've changed the automatic name to kind of a descriptive name. So you can see that this one is called Baby Boy Sleeping with Greenery and Sheepskin. And then the other thing I've done is I've made it 1600 pixels wide. So you can see I've done that to all of these. Newborn portrait in white, dimensions 16. So let's say I'm doing these newborn portraits. I'm going to press Shift and select 3 of them. And I'll go upload. And now it's going to bring all 3 of those into my media library. It's not going to put them in the post, but it's going to put them in the media library. So let's have a look at the first one I did. So this is one I already did. Now, you remember that I added some alternative text in the post? It doesn't transfer over to the copy in the media library. And that's one of the reasons that I don't love to add them one by one in the post. I like to add them to the media library where I can do this, and then it just sticks with the image instead of it only being in the instance of the image that's in the post. So I'll rewrite that. Sleeping newborn baby wrapped in blankets in woodland setting. Okay. And if the title is something that's come in automatically from your photo software, as it is in this case, it's come in from PicTime, I usually just change that to also to something a little bit more descriptive. If you're not using a program like PicTime or Pick, what those photo gallery software is, usually the title just comes in as the file name. But there we go. Now I can go to the next image. Baby boy sleeping with greenery and sheepskin, and I can just go in and enter all the alternative text for these. Around him. White. Okay, and you can see up here that the dimensions are all that 1600, and that's just a number I like. You can use 1200 if you want your images to load a little more quickly. You can use 1800 if you want them to have even more detail. I'm just liking 1600 these days. I used to do 1200 most of the time. Okay, so there we go. I've got alternative text and a nice descriptive title for each of those 4 images. And you can see it saves it in here without me pressing save, which is a little disconcerting, but you can always go back and check. So I'm going to press the X, get out of there. Now I can see these 4 images. I'm going to go back to my posts. So I'm going to go to posts or all posts, and it's going to take me to this list. So here is my first blog post. I'm going to go edit. And it should take me back to where I was. Okay, so now I'm going to move my cursor down here. This little line here appears, and then I press the plus, and I'm going to go image. And this time I'm going to go media library. So now I can choose one of those. You can see the alt text is already populated, and the title that you can see in this setting is also populated. So I'm going to go select, and I'm going to go through the same settings. I'm going to make sure that there's a little blue border around the image so that I know that that's what I'm editing. I'm going to go align center. I'm going to go over here and make sure the resolution is full size. I'm happy with the aspect ratio. There's nice alt text. That's great. And I can just do that for the other 2 images. Yep, that looks good. Make sure it's centered, full size, original aspect ratio, and then that last one here, perfect. Okay. So that looks good. So now these images are all in there. I'm happy with it. I'm going to press save. And then I can press view post. There is all those images that I added.